The medicine wasn't there yet.
It wasn't there, and you know, the medicine which was there was in the thousands of dollars. But we said, it doesn't matter what we can do, let's do the little we can do.
And look at these numbers. I mean, this is the Chreso, CETA, Crossroads, Vision-led project. What a team. This is the Kabwe Siovanga HIV/AIDS mitigation project, started in 2008. You planned to see 13,500 patients over the project's life. 13,500. In the first 2 years, you've seen 42,000.
That's right. In fact, the number has even much increased. And, you know, that kind of commitment, that kind of involvement in the lives of the people just has brought so many changes. You can see the lives.
Can get the pioneering of this. I mean, when we came there, we visited Chief Samamba, a village chief, and we had to get his permission. I mean, I say we just because we tagged along. You had to get Chief Samamba's permission to have these initiatives in the area that he's responsible for. These barriers are all broken down now.
Well, right now we have open doors, and you know, I thank God, because God is the one who opens doors. But we still have to recognize the doors and go through it. But it's always exciting to go through a door which the Lord opens, and by His grace we have been able to see things which we never thought possible. I mean, nobody knew at that time that a few years later, when we first started, we had no clue that treatment would become a possibility. But today we can see the lives of people dramatically improved. You know, in those days, people were often dying within a week. Sometimes we had so many funerals. And now you see people much more healthy. They may be still positive, but they have got the drugs to take care of themselves, and they take life in a different way altogether.
Now, Helmut, I want to talk about all the things you're doing, which amazed me in 2004, and it just keeps growing. But I want people to know that you and Esther had to have the courage of Daniel in your pioneering, because even the church that sent you from Germany disengaged, because you were supposed to be teaching pastors. You had an assignment. When you got there, you saw the need, and you had to go in new directions. And not everybody was on board.
Absolutely, but I think, you know, every pioneer will go through such kind of a process. The kind of work we got involved in was not the kind of work which the church which sent me initially had envisioned. You know, I mean, they sent me to teach in a Bible college, full stop. You know, but we got involved in the lives of people. We got involved in the well-being of people in the communities. And we are really thankful for that, because after all, this is what Jesus did. You know, when you look at the life of Jesus, Jesus touched the lives of people for good. You know, I have often been wondering, Jesus didn't, you know, differentiate whether somebody would come back and say thank you. Remember the story of the 10 people who he healed from leprosy, and only one came back to say thank you. Jesus could have said, okay, I know one of you will say thank you, I'll touch you. But he help people, and I believe that the church has got that calling to touch the lives of people. I don't think we have the right to stand by and see people suffering when we have the ability to at least mitigate the issues which are at hand. And I believe, you know, if the church wants to be relevant, if the church wants to be the salt and the light of the world, then we have to get involved. We cannot just sit in church on a Sunday morning and have a good time, but we need to be out and about throughout the week and you know, address the issues people are struggling with.
And the fact that God partnered you with a nurse certainly had that guaranteed sensitivity to the physical needs of the people, but the spiritual needs. I'm just going to ask you a quick answer. Have you counted, when we say entrepreneur, missionary entrepreneur, have you counted? I can see the calendar with the pictures of all the ministry arms. How many?
Well, we had a volunteer at one time, And he was really living close with us. And when he left, he drew a very nice painting. And he said,
joined our Christmas in Zambia team in 2005.
He drew up a nice painting with the 40 jobs of a missionary.
The 40.
Yes,
okay, let me just do really quickly here. And I'm going to leave some out, I'm sure. The Go Center is a church. I could get myself sidetracked on that church. But you have 15 satellite churches. You have a Bible school.
Yes.
You broadcast. How many years have you been doing radio in Zambia?
Radio I've been doing for 20 years.
20?
Yeah.
And you've had a morning TV talk show.
Yeah.
It airs 5:30 every morning.
Similarly to this format, yes.
Yeah. I mean, you used to make up. I didn't have to apologize. You got to go get makeup.
That's right.
How long's that been running?
It has been running, I think, for 6 years, 7 years.
6 years. Now, when we went to Zambia, boy, I wish we could take another whole program to show our tour with Helmut and Esther. Don't get in their car unless you're ready for an adventure. We're guessing that the tour you took us on of the churches you were planting, the girls' school that was being built at the end of the bottom road, and you nearly hit your bottom on that road, believe me. You took us about over 500 kilometers that day?
Right, yeah. I mean, it was, and of course, you know, it looks like much more because the roads are so bad. You know, the roads are really a challenge.
You know what I remember is the man coming out of the bush to the little road, and we're talking a bush road, with a wheelbarrow. And I can't remember if there was someone in the wheelbarrow, because that's often how they get people to hospital.
Sick people.
But he was part of your ministry. This guy literally coming out of the tall grass and hello, you know, miles from anywhere. So as I said, 4 schools. Did I say 4 schools?
Right.
Orphanage, fixed medical clinics in Lusaka, Kabwe, and Livingston. ART clinics have 14,000 HIV positive patients with 8,000 on ARVs. And the prisons, you go into the prisons. Health Watch, you can Google Health Watch. And they've done a wonderful report on the work that you're doing in the prisons.
Human Rights Watch, yes, did a study in Zambia a few months ago. It has been publicly released on the internet. It can be checked up. And they have recognized the role Go Center and Chreso Ministry have been playing in the lives of so many prisoners. You know, many people's lives were completely transformed. I had a very moving interview with some of their staff, and they told us what, you know, they had been able to get in about 250 interviews with inmates. So it's amazing, and we're thankful that God has been able to bring such people along to you know, document it in a very powerful way.
It's wonderful. What are you working on now? I mean, you're always dreaming. You're always hard to catch up with.
Well, right now we have incorporated a university, what we call the Chreso University. We just believe, you know, I personally have a passion for young people, and you know, many young people have no future, no hope. So of course we have been doing training for young people in a vocational area. You know, we train people in different vocations, but then we felt that we also needed to have much more impact as far as the future of the country goes. And so some years ago, God put on my heart to study university, and I said, God, I'm the wrong guy. I can't do this.
I would have said, my plate is full.
And I just said to the Lord, you know, I mean, if you're really serious and you want me to do this, you have to open the doors. And amazingly, God opened the door end of last year. Things began to happen, and it has even taken all of us, even myself, completely by surprise. So we go into a new era. We don't know what is yet going to happen. It's a big challenge, of course, as every project has been a big challenge. And we wait for the provision of God to come along. You know, right now we are looking for a lot of books, even second-hand books. If anybody has got books for a library, university library, we would be very grateful for that.
Oh,
and of course, we are setting up our structures. We have been able to get the support of government on the issue, and we are very thankful, because often it's not easy. when you do the kind of cooperation with government. But this time they have seen our different kind of work, and we are very, very grateful that they have seen the value which we are bringing to the nation.
You know, it's Helmut's first trip to Canada. And you know, you might wonder, and I did it first, about a husband and wife and 2 children leaving Germany?
Yeah, Germany, yes.
Close to which major city?
Stuttgart.
Near Stuttgart. And coming to really primitive conditions in Africa, going through things like, you know, having your vehicle break down 900 kilometers from home in the jungle, being robbed, or men attempting to rob you, being stoned in the process. I mean, really physically beaten. I mean, have you started the book?
I started taking notes, you know, so I hope one day I'll have the time to start writing it out.
So many chapters to write. But I think the answer is already seen in the adventure that God has given you because you've said yes to Him, to boldly go where nobody in their right mind would, actually, unless they knew God was leading them.
Yeah, actually, I think for us it's such a rewarding work, you know. It was a bit hard, you know. The first year, I remember it was quite tough, and sometimes we were wondering, is this the right place where God brought us, you know? Did we hear properly? But today we are not looking at the primitive kind of lifestyle anymore, because we have seen tremendous changes. And you know, to some extent we have been playing a role in the development of Zambia. I don't want to brag at all, but I think we have been able to touch lives and people in Zambia to a great extent, and we are thankful that we could have such a role. I have often said to friends and to my wife, you know, if we would have remained in Germany, yes, we would have done our work, but we could have never had that kind of impact which we have seen in Zambia.
Well, Helmut, I'll just take that conclusion to be a springboard to thank you again, our Crossroads partners. You're helping to write this story as well. God bless you, and let's just pick up on that book challenge for the university.